This episode is sponsored by Amy Wangard. The Amy Wangard Group is proud to serve Northeast Ohio and all YSU alumni. Ranked 15th out of more than 10,000 realtors across 27 counties, Amy and her team deliver trusted, professional real estate advice for your most significant investment. Through exclusive programs designed to simplify buying and selling, they offer solutions you won't find anywhere else, helping clients move confidently at every step. Their goal is to maximize your value and provide a smooth, stress-free experience that turns your dreams into reality. At the Amy Wangard Group, clients become family, and every home is a new beginning. Learn more at amysguaranteed.com. Again, that's amyguaranteed.com. The link will be posted in the description. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Penguin Nation Fans Podcast. As always, I am your host, Gino Leone. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Whitetown Nation. And don't forget to check out my written work over on Redshirt Sports. Today, I'm bringing you guys my last edition of the spring preview series. This has been an absolute blast getting into each position group and diving deep into each position group. I'm going to bring you guys a full projected defensive and offensive depth chart for the spring game, and then give you guys a full spring preview episode and a spring preview article to make sure that you guys are fully prepared for the spring game, because there's a lot of competition brewing up. I want to make sure that when you guys go to these spring games, that you know what to look for on this Youngstown State team, to know which areas are the most competitive, which areas of the team are the most solidified and the most fortified. It's important to do this. It's important to get the spring preview series in, and it's been an absolute blast covering this spring team and getting into the strengths of the YSU roster, the weaknesses, and just breaking down each position group. Today, special teams preview. Excited to get into special teams. Heading into last season, you know, I'm not going to lie, I did not think that the special teams would be that big of an issue, and we all saw it last season. Special teams absolutely haunted us, and it 100%, and I can say this with certainty after going back, rewatching this season and just breaking down, you know, each individual special teams play. Special teams consistently hurt YSU in big games and probably cost us 2 to 3 games. Against Michigan State, we allowed an 83-yard punt return that set the Spartans up at the YSU 4-yard line. They would score a touchdown. We would then miss a field goal that would be costly, as that would make it a 2-possession game where we weren't able to come back. Towson, the Tigers converted 2 fake punts, and both drives ended in touchdowns. I can't get over this still, that we won that Towson game and we surrendered 2 fake punts. I don't know what the odds are, but the odds of winning a game when you give up 2 fake punts that result in touchdown drives are incredibly low. We should have lost that game to Towson. Special teams almost cost us that game to Towson. We got saved by Andrew Lastovka, but we probably should have lost that Towson game. North Dakota State, 100%, the most prime example of special teams hurting us last season and really costing us. We allowed a 100-yard kickoff return. We also fumbled a kickoff return that set North Dakota State up in phenomenal field position, and they capitalized and scored a touchdown. That for sure was a direct example of special teams losing us a game. And I bring this up because special teams is often, you know, that phase of the game that is overlooked. And I think YSU fans really learned the hard way that you cannot neglect special teams whatsoever. You have to set an edge in special teams, and teams that are able to set that edge, to gain that advantage in special teams, are going to have a significant advantage over their competition. And if YSU really wants to aspire to chase a championship in the Missouri Valley and chase a national championship, you have to rebuild the special teams unit, and you have to set an edge and create an advantage that some other teams won't be able to match and won't be able to create. It's important. Field position matters so much in the game. Executing on field goals, on punts, it all comes into place. It's the little details that often go overlooked in the game that really matter the most. You look at the stats last season, the biggest issue for us, we ranked 122nd in punt return defense, and we ranked 100th in kickoff return defense. And that was not good. Not good at all, because as we all know, our defense struggled last season. Gave up around 31 points per game, struggled to get off the field. When you have a defense that is struggling and a defense that is not, frankly, wasn't very good last season, especially in the secondary, you cannot afford to have terrible punt return defense and terrible kickoff return defense and consistently put your defense in just awful positions. We knew that last season, it was going to take a lot of work to rebuild that defense that was just way worse in 2024. That 2024 defense was straight up atrocious. Last season, we knew it was going to take time to get that group to gel together and to build a better defense and to really rebuild that unit. The issue with that is our defense was not good enough where you could afford to have the 122nd ranked punt return defense and the 100th ranked kickoff return defense. We seriously put our defense in some awful positions. And I'm not going to make excuses for what happened on defense. That's not acceptable. But special teams, if we have a better special teams unit last season, we're staring down the barrel of a completely different record, completely different seeding in the playoffs. So this is how important special teams are. This cannot be overlooked or neglected. And bringing Thomas Fletcher in as special teams coordinator, to me, is a huge one. I think Doug Phillips absolutely, hit a home run with both of these hires, both of these coordinator hires this offseason. Outstanding job. Thomas Fletcher, young coach. He's risen quickly through the coaching ranks. He played on Nick Saban national championship teams at Alabama. He was even a graduate assistant for a season with Nick Saban. He had success coaching at West Alabama last season. Their special teams unit was just absolutely phenomenal last season. Now he steps into a huge role running YSU special teams. The big issue here for Fletcher, and it's going to be difficult, but I do believe he's up for the task. I'm very high on what Fletcher brings to the table. He's not only fixing performance issues, but he's also replacing several key specialists. We lose punter Brendan Kilpatrick. He was the 2024 FCS punter of the year after an outstanding campaign. We lose long snapper Byron Floyd, punt returner Max Tomczak, and then electric kickoff returner Flash Wilson. And we're going to need some young guys to step up next season. There's no doubt about it, but I do think we have the talent. I think Fletcher is the right coach for the job. I think he's going to have his work panned out for him in trying to correct and rebuild this unit. But I'm very optimistic and have a hard time believing that our punt return defense and our kickoff return defense could be much worse than it was last season. Let's start at the punter position with Evan Anderson, who will take over that starting punter role for Brendan Kilpatrick. He's a redshirt freshman, spent last year developing in the system, strong high school resume. He was a first-team Class 5A district punter, a 3-year varsity starter. He went to Cole's professional camps. He was rated as a 4-star kicker, a 5-star punter, ranked number 36 punter nationally. He's known for his clean mechanics, consistent spiral, and controlled footwork. He's going to have huge shoes to fill replacing an FCS punter of the year. But if you watch some film on this kid, you've seen what he's been able to do at several kicking camps. I feel very confident that Anderson is going to step up into Brendan Kilpatrick's shoes and just be an outstanding punter for YSU. I have a lot of confidence in what I've seen on film. what his resume says, I'm very confident that he'll be able to rise up to the occasion and fit those shoes comfortably. At long snapper, Nate Boozer, he was a transfer from Walsh University. He transferred in last offseason. He redshirted in 2023 at Walsh, recorded 9 tackles in 2024, was recognized in high school as a second team All-Suburban League National Conference selection. Long snapper is one of the most unnoticed but critical roles on special teams. It's important that you have an effective long snapper. Obviously, we had Byron Floyd last season. I think Boozer is the right guy for the job as well. And I think this is sort of an area where we might be able to upgrade. I'm sort of high on Boozer, and I think he could maybe do a better job than what Byron Floyd did last season. Return game is really a wild card. There's no clear starters yet. I think one name to watch here is Lynn Wyche-El, the electric speedster from Grand Valley State that we transferred in at wide receiver. He really reminds me of Flash Wilson, and setting that edge in special teams with kickoff return like we were able to do with Flash Wilson, that's huge. Wyche-El, he had 7 kickoff returns for 154 yards, 8 punt returns for 26 yards last season. He could really become that primary return specialist, but it would not surprise me if he splits responsibilities between kickoff return and punt returns like we kind of did last season, where Max Tomczak took punt returns, Flash Wilson took those kickoff returns. It wouldn't surprise me if the coaching staff mixes up those roles. That's something we'll have to see at the spring game. Kicking game has some stability, which is important. You want a good field goal kicker, a good place kicker. Andrew Lastovka comes back after going 15 of 21 on field goals, 57 of 58 on PATs. He earned honorable mention all Missouri Valley Football Conference. He's been very consistent throughout his career. He's cold as ice when it comes to the crunch time, as we saw with that Towson kick. He even drilled a huge kick versus Illinois State back in 2023. I'm very confident in Lastovka and what he'll be able to do. And then kickoff specialist, Josh Wilkins handled 89 kickoffs last season. He had 29 touchbacks. He had some heavy workload games against Robert Morris, Murray State, Indiana State. I really like Wilkins. And I think kickoff coverage may improve even more if his touchback outage increases next season. So, as I said, special teams were a major weakness last season, but there are new faces, there's new leadership, and young talent stepping in. And I think what Doug Phillips wanted to do as special teams coordinator is get a guy that has really grew up and lived on special teams. He's somebody that has been in the same shoes before as the players. He spent a season at the NFL. I think Fletcher, if he can stabilize this unit, I think special teams could quietly become one of the biggest improvements on the team, and we really need it to be. We really need to flip the special teams unit and make sure that we rebuild it the right way and that we're creating an advantage on special teams. That's going to do it for this edition of the Penguin Nation Fans Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to leave the show a 5-star review and continue to support the podcast on social media. For now, I'm Gina Leone, and as always, go Gwins.